This screencast is designed to show the user how to build tabular reports in the Flashpoint platform associated to specific data classes in the platform. In this example, I'm going to use the members grid here and create a tabular or row and column Excel-based report on the basis of the data that we see here in the members grid. Now you notice here I've got a total of 6 records in the system. The report drop down over here has got a couple of built-in reports. It's got a default export. The default export simply exports out all of the columns and rows in the grid. But we're going to choose this option for Manage Excel Templates. This is going to allow us to create a very specialized tabular export, also based upon this particular data class. In order to do that, I'm going to start here on Manage Excel Templates. I'm going to create an Excel template. In much the same way we've seen with other aspects in the system, you can define the report to either be available just to you or to other individuals in the organization. In this particular example or illustration, I'm actually going to make this a system report so that others can see it and use it. We're going to call this one the Member Detail Report, and we're going to provide a lot more information on the report than what you generally see on the grid itself. It's very common when you're outputting data associated with people or companies that you output IDs or identifiers uniquely associated to those records. In this particular case, I'm going to choose the ID that Flashpoint uses for the member. I'll add that. I can put a different caption in here and actually label this, not the default name, but a specific name or a name that I would like to give to the column itself. I'm going to put a couple of others in here. We're going to use the national identifier. In order to do that, whenever you're working in data classes, like the member data class, you have to understand the relationships that the member data class has to the person. Each person can have a related member data class, so there's a unique connection that goes between member and person. When I'm here on the member record in reports, I can actually navigate to the person by literally typing person. I'm going to down arrow and then right arrow to go into or jump into that data class or that collection. Now I'm going to choose the national identifier. This is the national ID that Data Research Group uses in the Flashpoint platform to uniquely identify, in this case, a member or an individual person. The name that I give to the actual identifier is really determined by the local or the organization that we might be working with and how they refer to that number. In this case, I'm just going to leave that blank. We're also going to add the person's social security number. And this is another piece of information. Notice again, I can spell this out as opposed to saying SSN. We're going to add some more information. I'll add the last name. I'll do person and then last name. There it is. I'm going to do the first name. We'll do the person's middle name. And we'll also do the person's suffix. And then since we're going to label this report the member detail, we're going to provide additional pieces of information like the member's address as well as other information that may come up or that may be associated with this individual's record. So I'm going to also say here, person address, we say the default address, and then I'm going to say street, and we're continuing to add elements of the default address associated with this person. You're noticing, if you're paying attention to what I'm doing, again, I'm sort of traversing or coming back down the collections associated to the member. Each member has a person, each person has a default address, and each default address has a collection of fields that make that up as well. In this case here, I've got to choose the city. So we've got, we've got person and default address here. I just need to choose the city. And we're going to get state and zip as well. And finally, the zip code. There are some other fields associated with a person that we could include in this particular export here. How about the ethnicity of the person? And then we'll do the default phone and the default email and call it good there. I'm going to call that the number. I'm going to call this one ethnicity. And we're going to do just one more. So in the creation of this simple tabular export, we are creating a simple report based on member. Now in this example, we're using an individual person as an example member. Many organizations, however, the members are actually contractors, but everything, irrespective of that, everything that I just described in this illustration or in this demonstration still applies as it pertains to choosing the fields related to the member role. Again, in this example, we had members being provided by the member role being taken up by people instead of companies. And because of that, I'm choosing things related to the person to define what elements I'd like to see in that report. Once I save this template out here, one of the things I need to do to make sure that it actually shows on the member grid is to include it in the grid. In order to do that, you simply check the export template and hit include here. Now that it's checked as included, I can go over to the members grid here. And just with these 6 members now, when I hit the drop down, you'll notice that I see my member detail report. When I run that report, I get all of these 6 members, but I get additional data that I don't see here on the grid. In addition to their name and other information up here, I also get street, city, state, zip, if that information is available on the record. I've requested the phone number on there and the email address. You'll notice again, these are things that are not seen on the grid, but we can make them available easily in the export. This export now is available to anybody who wants to run it. This demonstration has been a very simple demonstration to show the user how to create a tabular report that is a row and column or Excel-based report associated to a data class in the Flashpoint platform.